Hey guys, it's Amanda. I just wanted to talk to you about a few things and kind of give you a small update. Sorry it's been so long. I've been working a lot because I've been feeling pretty good this past few days, so that's good. But I first of all wanted to thank you guys so much for your comments, especially on the video where I shaved my head because that was, really emotional for me and kind of had a hard time. So you guys really are amazing. Your comments are amazing, and I literally read every single one of them, and it helps me. So thank you for that. I know I haven't gotten back to anyone yet. I've been extremely busy, and I'm sorry, but I just wanted you to know that I really do appreciate it. And I also love hearing stories, from all of you that say you knew someone that conquered this battle because it makes me feel better to know that I'm not alone and that people are fighting and winning because that's exactly what I want to do. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about the day I found out about the cancer because I feel like I would want to know that if I was going through something similar. So basically, I know I didn't go in depth of that. I had been going through all this testing. The last test I had before I got diagnosed was the full biopsy where they actually cut out a chunk of my lymph node. So I was scheduled for another 2 weeks, I believe, from then to finally find out the results. But like I said, I was extremely nervous the whole time. I was making myself sick and everything because it was 50-50. I either had it or didn't. So I ended up calling the doctor's office like a bunch of times. And like I said, some of my family is in that business. So the doctor was supposed to call me on Halloween, and I ended up getting called into work and I went in for a little bit. So it took my mind off of it for a little while, but I still knew the whole day that he could call at any time and I would find out the results. So that was not a good day. I was just extremely nervous and, worried sick. So he didn't call all day, and then I came home and I was still waiting for the call, but he was in surgery and stuff. So anyways, then he did call, and I remember just not knowing what to expect and being extremely nervous. But he asked me how I was doing and stuff like that. But I was kind of like, cut to the chase. I've been sick all day. So he finally told me, kind of just point blank that I have it, Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I'm not really happy with the way I reacted because I'm kind of embarrassed, but, there's no way of knowing how you're going to react, especially in kind of like a crisis mode like that. So I just want if anyone to know out there that might be waiting for results or something like that, or, just got diagnosed but are embarrassed about how they reacted. I got, immediately extremely emotional. I started crying on the phone so bad that I couldn't talk. And the doctor was then asking me, where I wanted to go from here. If, which radiologist I wanted to go to or oncologist. But at that time, I couldn't think about anything besides the fact that I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I was trying to wrap my brain around that. So I ended up, crying so hard that he said, do you need me to call your mom instead and talk to her? So I said yes. So during that time, I called my dad, and like I said, I'm kind of embarrassed of how I reacted, but when I really think about it, there's no way of preparing yourself for that. So I don't think it was that bad, but I just was crying hysterically. And, the first thing I asked my dad was, am I dying? Am I going to die? Because that's your main concern when you find out you have cancer. And that was the only thing I really needed an answer of no to make me feel better. So as soon as he said no, you're going to be okay and stuff like that, I felt a little bit better. But I still, at that time, like I said before, I didn't know anything about Hodgkin's lymphoma, even though I was going through all that testing and everything like that. I tried not to Google it too much or, look stuff up on the internet because I didn't want to make myself upset when I didn't know and that there was still a chance it could be infection. So I didn't know anything about it, and pretty much my family didn't know very much. So we immediately all just started researching. And But I do want to add in that during that time of the phone calls and everything like that, I am beyond thankful that I had my boyfriend there with me during that time, because I can't imagine if I had been alone. And he has just been completely wonderful throughout this whole thing. I mean, he really cares about me and really takes care of me. So I'm thankful for that. And like I said, just if something like this happens to you, don't feel bad or embarrassed about how you react, because there is no good way to react to something like that. And I don't think even if you knew there was a 75% chance that you had cancer, that you would react any differently. So those were the first few days were a little bit rough. But other than that, there was a time that I came to thinking in my head, basically, I can get depressed and be upset all the time and crying, or I can take this as it's going to be a life lesson. I'm going to learn from it. And you know what? I would like to try to help someone that might be going through the same thing in any way I can. So immediately there's two different ways you can go. Being depressed and stuff like that isn't going to help you get through it at all. I mean, it's understandable to be that way, though. I completely understand that. And there are days when I'm depressed or I'm crying a lot, so I can relate to that completely too. But I chose to go with a positive attitude and trying to use it to help someone else, because that keeps me sane as well. So that's kind of the story around when I was diagnosed with cancer. I thought that might be something that someone might want to hear about if they were going through it. And another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is just kind of like my daily routine, how it's changed altogether. Let's see, I'm trying to think of everything. So there's obviously some changes in my daily routine. Besides being weaker and tired, I have to drink 2 quarts of water every day, which, I always drank water, but this is like a lot more than I drank before. So I always have to make sure of that at least. Even when I'm feeling sick and nauseous, I have to get in my 2 quarts of water. So I do that no matter what. The other thing is, they tell you from the very beginning that starting that day, every day, you need to rinse your mouth with this baking soda water. It's like a teaspoon of baking soda with some warm water. And I do that for like 30 seconds, 3 to 4 times a day. And that's supposed to prevent those mouth sores that are so prominent in getting the treatment of chemo. So I do that. And then another thing that they talked about was, eating. And in the beginning, I didn't have trouble eating because I wasn't nauseous at all, really. But the last time I did get nauseous. So what they basically told me is I need to get high protein. So even if I'm feeling sick or anything like that, even if I can only drink a milkshake or something, which that hasn't happened to me yet, that's still better than nothing because it has protein in it. So the way I've changed my diet is basically just, I really do look up foods that are high in protein, and I try to go by that. That's my main concern, is getting the nutrients that I need. So I just look for the most protein in food items, and I try to get those kind of things to have at home. But other than that, one other thing, I wore contacts, and the first time I went in for chemo, they were like, "Are you wearing contacts?" And I said yes, and I'm thinking, oh, great. But you can't wear contacts throughout the whole thing. So I have to wear my glasses the whole time, because I guess there's a chance that the contacts will get dry, because your whole body, everywhere, it gets drier than normal. And so your contacts can start scratching your corneas or stuff like that if they get too dry. And so they just say no pretty much altogether, that you shouldn't wear them. So not only do I have to shave my head, but now I have to wear glasses too. So those are just some of the, daily habits that I've changed. It's really not too much if you think about it. So I need obviously a little bit more sleep than normal, and but that's about it. changing your diet a little bit and trying to be healthier is good anyways, so that helped me in a way too. But other than that, let's see. It is Monday and my chemo is Thursday, so basically I'm just really worried about that. I really, really hope that my counts are good this time because I don't want to move back my chemos anymore. I want to stick with the end date that I was planning on. But I'm hoping Thursday that I can possibly tape in there. I'm going to have to talk to, the hospital and the doctor and nurses and ask, but the video quality might not be as good, but I'm going to try to actually tape while I'm going to chemo. Because I know a lot of you kind of are curious about that, and I would be too. So that will give you a first-hand look. Let me know if you think that's a good idea, and yeah, I'm just nervous, and I'm kind of hoping that Thursday I'll find out when my PET scan is, which will be at the end of December, because that gives me something to kind of look forward to. I know it sounds crazy looking forward to having a PET scan, but I'm hoping, really, really hoping and praying that that PET scan will show that it's gone like they were expecting, and that I just can keep on track with being done, the end of February, hopefully, and doing just the 4 months. That's what I'm really hoping for. So other than being nervous for Thursday, I've just been working a lot, like I said, and I'm trying to embrace my hair. I wanted to try to go out without anything to see how strong I was and if I could handle it. So I have been doing that. I've been going to work without a hat on or my wig or anything, and I've also been to a few stores like this. So trying to embrace it, but I'm starting to think that I should probably start wearing makeup. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't, and it might, I don't know, help offset the fact that I don't have hair maybe. So other than that, I'm doing really good. I feel good. I'm just nervous about Thursday, but that happens to me every single time because even though I know what to expect, I don't know what to expect with the symptoms afterwards. So that just always makes me nervous, but I know I'll be okay, and I just can't wait till the halfway point. I'm really excited about that. So I will definitely, I'll either have footage of the actual chemo next, or I will come back and talk to you guys about the chemo, but I'm going to really try to tape while I'm in there. It's kind of long, but I can fast forward or do whatever to the video. So thank you guys again so much for your comments and love and support and prayers and just everything. I really appreciate all of you, and I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye.